President Biden is set to visit Saudi Arabia next month. It's part of his first trip to the Middle East as president. He'll first stop in Israel on July 13th, then visit the West Bank. The president will go on to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, to attend a summit with leaders from across the region. Mr. Biden will also meet with the country's de facto leader, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, during his trip. For more on all of this, I'm joined by CBS News political contributor Sean Sullivan. He's also a White House reporter for The Washington Post. Sean, thanks very much for joining us. So President Biden has referred to Saudi Arabia as a, quote, pariah state for the brutal murder of Saudi-born journalist Jamal Khashoggi. How could this trip test the president's stated commitment to human rights?
Well, it's already testing it right now when you look at the reaction here in the United States, Elaine. Even within the president's own party, we're starting to see criticism from lawmakers who are very, very uncomfortable with the idea of President Biden making this trip. Of course, this trip comes at a time when the president's also dealing with really, really high gas prices. Saudi Arabia is one of the world's largest producers of oil. So there is some incentive for the president to perhaps make some headway on some sort of agreement that could lower the price of gas. But it is clearly very sensitive. The Saudi government has taken a lot of criticism for its human rights violations. And, as my colleague pointed out today in his report, it was notable that in the initial announcement of this trip, the White House did not even specify that President Biden was going to be meeting with the Crown Prince. Of course, the Saudi government was quick to announce that, and the White House later confirmed it. But it's something they're clearly trying to downplay at this point and already facing criticism over.
Well, as you mentioned, this comes at a time when Americans are dealing with rising gas prices and inflation. You touched on this. So President Biden, could he call on Saudi Arabia to release more oil to the U.S. and its allies?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, this White House and this administration is really, really scrambling right now to try to bring down the price of gas. They know that this is something that people are dealing with every day. People are getting out on the road more. It's the summertime. People are going on vacation. And on top of that, we are only a few months away from the midterm elections. And Republicans, for months, Elaine, have been hammering this administration over record inflation, over rising prices when it comes to food, when it comes to rent. And now they're dealing with this when it comes to gas. So if the president's not able to forge some sort of agreement coming out of this that does result or potentially result in lower gas prices, I think he's going to face even more criticism. And that might be even from his own party. You might see Democrats say, look, what was the point of doing this in the first place if he didn't get something done?
Right. The word that we kept hearing out of the White House, as you well know, to describe inflation, at least earlier on, was quote unquote transitory, a.k.a. temporary. Well, now U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has acknowledged that she was wrong about the path inflation would take. So, Sean, can you tell us more about how the Biden administration is responding to the current economic headwinds?
Yeah, well, for one thing, Elaine, we do not hear that word and have not for a long time, that word transitory from anybody in this administration. Last year, as you pointed out, we heard it a lot. And so what we're hearing now from this administration is, look, we're taking some steps to try to lower costs when it comes to gas. They've talked about releasing gas from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, loosening restrictions on ethanol, a variety of other steps they've taken as well. We've also heard President Biden talk about, quote, Putin's price hike. He's blamed a lot of rising prices on the turmoil in Ukraine and the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The reality is that invasion did add volatility to the global markets, but prices were rising for a long time. And so right now we're seeing this White House and this president and his party struggle to explain that to the American people. And again, with those midterm elections looming right now, a lot of Democrats are concerned that if they can't bring these prices down, they're going to be in for some really, really difficult challenges come November.
All right, Sean Sullivan. Sean, good to talk to you. Thank you so much.